Hey guys, it's me again. The dude who gets a bunch of support on his videos, says he'll upload more, and then promptly disappears for a month. Yeah, I don't really have any excuses about it. To be honest, I've been feeling pretty creatively burnt in general recently, and since this channel is basically a side project to my side project, it obviously is going to take the brunt of my laziness. But that being said, today's video is actually going to deviate from the norm a little bit and discuss something kind of serious. Recently, at the behest of the queen of degenerates herself, I checked out this manga series called Neeko wa Tsurai, or It's Tough Being Neeko. Going in, I was expecting a kind of relatable slice-of-life comedy, maybe give me a few laughs, distract me from my day, that sort of thing. But by the time I'd reached the current chapter, it had actually gotten me pretty emotional. And the reason this manga got me feeling so down is that the main character, Neeko, is basically me. Let me explain. This manga follows a girl named Neeko, a 23-year-old college graduate who got rejected from every job she applied for and wound up becoming a NEET. Now, when I say this character is like me, I mean that in a pretty abstract sense. Obviously, I'm not a sexy Japanese girl with massive badonkers, but appearances aside, there are a couple other differences. For one thing, I'm not actually unemployed, and I'm also technically still in education since I'm working on my master's degree, so on that level, the term NEET doesn't really apply to me. But despite all that, my current situation doesn't really permit me to live alone, and as much as I hate to recognize it, I'm starting to get past the point where most people expect you to stop living with your parents. But all that aside, there is an incredible amount about this character that I find really relatable, to a level where at times this manga was almost a humorous reflection of my own life. Neeko displays extreme embarrassment whenever she's asked about what she does or where she's living, and that's an awkwardness I can wholeheartedly sympathize with. Even though I do have a job, it's not really something I want to be doing, and I've been working pretty hard to try and do literally anything else, so whenever anybody brings it up, I tend to try and avoid talking about it. And also, to be blunt, there's actually nothing in the world that makes me feel like more of a fuck up than when I run into a friend or a relative or something and they ask me, "So man, where you living these days?" Now, this being a comedy manga, a lot of these situations are presented humorously, and most of Neeko's quirks and personality traits are presented in a way that's meant to draw a laugh. But one thing this manga does a really good job of is showing that underneath the humor of these situations, Neeko is genuinely struggling. A recurring theme in the manga is that Neeko doesn't want to work. She calls a place asking about a part-time position and gets rebuffed because she claims she can only work 1 to 2 days a week. Her mother, who's understandably miffed about this, has a humorously framed conversation with her saying she should call back and offer to work all week long in an effort to secure the job. Additionally, there's an after panel that shows her resume where there's a similar statement about her not really wanting to work many days. But as the manga goes on, we learn that Neeko's apparent laziness is the manifestation of the very real trauma of rejection she felt after failing to secure a job. The rejection weighs heavily on her, and it's to the point where on some level she feels like she isn't even good enough to have a job and is incapable of working in professional society. This type of hang-up feels very real to me, and the chapters where this is explored hit home like a sledgehammer. To give an example from my own life, some months back I actually managed to secure a job interview with a tier 1 esports organization. Not gonna name any names, but if you follow esports in any capacity, you've absolutely heard of these people. Honestly, I couldn't even believe it when I got the request. It felt like all my dreams were coming true. I was gonna be able to have the job I always wanted, and the last few years of me working myself to the bone to get here were finally gonna be worth it. So the interview happens and it goes great, at least I think so anyway. I managed to sell myself well, the interviewer seemed reasonably impressed, and I was told I'd hear back in a week or two with next steps. That was 6 months ago. A month's worth of follow-up emails later, and I have yet to hear a word from anybody. I got completely ghosted. The reason I bring this story up is that much like Neeko, this experience has stayed with me throughout my job search. As much as I've tried to get over it, these kinds of mental hangups and the sort of spiral of failure that they can lead to can at times leave you wondering what the point of it all is. Am I good enough to do what I want to do and achieve the things I want to achieve? Maybe I'm just better off giving up. And I'm sure much like Neeko, my hesitance at times to put myself out there and really commit might on the surface look like I'm just being lazy, but the underlying feelings are very real, and it's one of the aspects of Neeko's character that I most deeply sympathize with while reading. The manga on the whole is a very enjoyable read. While it does obviously address the pretty serious points I just mentioned, it also does a good job of weaving in comedic relief and high points for the different characters to keep the narrative from being overly depressing. It also does a really good job of exploring the mindset and intentions of other people in Neeko's life, like her sister, her mom, and her friends, and shows that despite their appearance or Neeko's perception of their actions, they are genuinely worried for her and really do want to help. This was another beat that hit home for me, since at times even I have to remind myself that the people in my life genuinely do want what's best for me and are trying to help. Anyway, that's about it. Not really sure if this was a manga review or a rant about my life problems, but either way, I hope you enjoyed. And also, I hope you'll check this manga out. It really is very good. And yeah, leave a like and subscribe if you want to support the channel, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video.